Here's a question we received from a managed service provider. Richard, I don't think our clients are paying enough attention to our monthly activities report, and they will often postpone our checkpoint meetings at the last minute. Any advice on getting our clients to be more engaged? That's a really interesting question. And getting clients to be more engaged with monthly activity reports and committed to those checkpoint meetings can be crucial for maintaining good communication and ensuring that your clients see the value of your IT support services. Otherwise, you end up with that dreadful question after time where you're doing everything great for them and they say, what is it we're paying you for? Because they just don't see the value anymore. They don't feel the pain. So here's some strategies that could help you to increase your engagement with those clients. And firstly, I would say about the report format. So if the reports that you're sending to a client perhaps are not being engaged with, have a look at them. Consider whether they are maybe too techy, too dense, jargon heavy, or simply too long. I'm a big fan of simplifying reports using more visuals like graphs, charts, and traffic light systems, things like that. Highlight the key information and make it more accessible for your clients to read. Make it quicker for them to digest. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. The second thing I would say is you really need to focus on value. So ensure that each report clearly outlines the value that you're providing during the previous period, the last month or the last quarter. I really need you to focus on value here because lots of MSPs focus on the problem solved, things like that. But really, you want to be looking at the downtime preventing, the improvements that you've made, and how these actions have saved money or time for your client. So position that information to show the clear benefits, and that will help to make the report more relevant to them. Third one would be you've got to personalize the whole experience. It's easy to say, hey, you've got to do quarterly business reviews or technology business reviews in this way. The reality is every client is different. So you need to tailor the contents of the reports and the meetings to the specific interests and the business needs of each individual client. So for instance, if a client sees information that directly impacts their business outcomes, they're much more likely to pay attention. I would hugely encourage you as well to look into systems such as disk profiling, Crystal Knows, things of that nature. If this is new to you, go and check out Tubblog, the hub for MSPs. We've got some information there. But this shows you your communication style, and the way you're communicating may not be the way that your clients want to receive information. Some are very visual, as I mentioned earlier. Others like to see lots of detail. Others just want to see high-level information and get straight to the point. So bear in mind the way the client is as well. Another point I'm making it about making it regular. Consistency is king. So if you schedule regular client meetings, checkpoint meetings, whatever you want to call them, a consistent time and day that is convenient for the client, that helps the client to establish that routine, and it makes the meetings feel like a regular part of their business week, business month. It reduces the likelihoods of postponements as well. So consistency is king there. It's easy, isn't it, as an MSP to put off those meetings because you've got more important things to do, but consistency really is king. The other thing I would say, interactive elements. So when you go into the meetings, bring the report, but also provide those actionable insights. You could even go into the meeting with some sweet treats. So my great friend, Craig Sharp of Abussi, who we featured on TubbTalk 150, the podcast there, just gives a wealth of information on how he goes along to meetings with clients with donuts, with cakes, sweet treats of that nature. And trust me when I say, having done that in my MSP business, no client in history has turned down a meeting that involves donuts. So be engaging and make sure that as well as the information you've got, you bring things that are going to be of interest. So it could be specific strategic questions that involve the client in decision-making processes or planning, but make it interactive in that way. And going back to an earlier point as well about the way some people consume information, executive summaries. So start all your reports with a brief executive summary that gives a snapshot of the entire content of the report. So you'll find lots of business owners and stakeholders might only need to read this part and then pat the rest of the report. They're happy after that. So make sure that your executive report captures the crucial points and invites them to dive deeper into the details as well. So I hope that gives you some background to what I did within my MSP to make those meetings more engaging and to enable clients to want to turn up to the meetings and not just postpone them. The other thing I'd say just in closure is remember at the end of the meeting to set follow-ups and reminders. At the end of the meeting, have a brief overview of what you've discussed, but also then say, when's our next meeting going to take place? And remember that consistency. You should also follow up the meetings by sending the reports via email, highlighting the important information you talked about, and reminding the clients perhaps of anything they need to go back and to read through that they haven't already. And final piece of advice, ask them for feedback. Ask for feedback on the report and the meeting schedules. Understand what the clients like or dislike about your current approach, and that can help guide you in making the necessary adjustments to increase the engagement in those reports. So I think by implementing these strategies, you can help ensure your clients recognize the importance of the information being shared with them through those reports in your quarterly meetings or whatever cadence you've got them on, and they're much more inclined to engage with it actively as well.